story time. This is the Columbia Library here in Lake, which is an exercise on the revised code on the volume 3 of Amendments to the Constitution. This is a different perspective on the Constitution 1791 and 1992, 1776, 1718, 1818, 1919, with the George Washington Bridge, which is called the Blue Bridge. George Washington Bridge was considered the Green Bridge back then. Those oil refineries, oil companies, oil services, which are now encased on the bottom of the shafts, are run by fuel lines underneath the Columbia Park and also Columbia Park, all the way to the Yacht Club, all the way to the Big Y Columbia Park in Kennewick, Washington, Richland Y, and services. We have a corruption of DHS, CPS, Motel 6, and also Smorgasbord, Chuck E. Cheese, and also the other side of course, the Bay Lamp House, Air House, and their system that there used to be a long time ago a ship fishing hole. You got walleyes, crappies, yellow bellies, sturgeon, and then you got a salmon run. The reservoir goes into the reservoir in your Yakima River. Now, this enactment was established in 1932 and May 7th. The birthday was arrangement on 21st and 22nd. This one's on May 7th of 1930. This Section 11 approval February 26, 1889, relating to these missions in the United States, Northern Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and Washington, because of Hernandez and also Lord Wyman, is portraits on the George Washington, Allison, and Fredo Washington. George Washington Act was Section 11 Act, February 22nd, May 7th of 1932. No, May 21st and 22nd, still the same enactment that granted the act and disposed of public sale after advertising title lands capable of producing horticultural crops more than $10 per acre. Lands principally involving grazing. Now, George Washington, Virginia, is over 300 billions of acres, but the sections and garnishments they have in New York City has been in these reserve rights for the people. The reserve rights of the people. Now, there's a catch here. It's called 1791 in the United States, freedom of religion, speech, and the press. George Washington Monument, there is a first name, last name, the age was 7, and all the 8 and 9-year-old anti-Christ, anti-ritual individuals, sick individuals that are still trying to meditate and take people down and kill. This George Washington, President, Deputy of Virginia, because you see the emblems and the services they have in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Cincinnati, New York, and Kentucky. Kentucky is unbelievable because now Kentucky still sunk Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Rico thieves are still under the abyss and being tortured as they speak. They're mermaids now. They're he-she's. They're its. They're tortured individuals and surfing and growing legs and tongues and eyes and walking around and preaching the Bible. These are Limonites. And you never meet Master Yoda, the services of the administration, Mr. Mueller, always intimidating the Green Berets and services know what they do in torturing, knowing there never will be free in their services of deploying and deploying and employing and deploying till they find themselves a way of being insane and running the society and services of being distraught and is fool and throwing rocks at them and whatnot. This is New Jersey. This section is the bottom of Mr. Levinson, David Burnley, Mr. Patterson, John Dayton, Pennsylvania, B. Franklin, Thomas Mifflin, Robert Morris, Pennsylvania, George Cranmer, Thomas Fitzsimmons, Jerry Ingleson, James Wilson, Jerry Morrison. This is George Washington, right across from Fred House. Yeah, miss it. You got Delaware on there. That's George Reed, Gunnar Bedford Jr., John Dixon, Richard Bassett, Jacob Broom, and Mr. Maryland. Don't forget Maryland. We got all the archives on Maryland. Now, this is James McCurney, Jane St. Thomas, Jennifer, and don't forget Taylor. At 7-1 Okanagan, George Washington. It's not Mr. Obama. The Black Panther abandoned, left. His children, has siblings, children, distraught, take the blood from him, take the skin from him, and sitting there pleading for his life back. He's went with murders and child services and trying to able and disable him and make him write signatures This is called an Annapolis Act. In an Annapolis Act, they provide a division of a Dakota, South Dakota. Hernandez will take his services and take the individual down. And the people of North Dakota and South Dakota do not set the black minorities or Muslims in any of their services, or white, black people that come in a union footing around on their property with original statutes in Mexico or United States of America or any foreign countries. These are alienated public lands. Such statutes from the states of 50 states approved in February 22nd, 1889. New statute large. This is 18676. President's Proclamation Declaration, Washington State, George Washington, large proclamation, Georgia Courthouse, in front of George Washington House. There's a lawyer officer, and then there's an alleyway where they have these individuals just move and try to monopolize everything. No. No, Melania Trump and Donald Trump International put all the way from, I just dragged my body into the GTA bus, Air Force One, and all the way into the People bus, and all the way into Washed Potatoes, going to Carnival. I thought I could make it, but no, I just dragged my body into another vehicle and into another vehicle. And Miss Norma Rodriguez has his license plate on it, and he felt so privileged to have my body drag my own body in my simple head. I'm not gonna beg for mercy from nobody. So this is a enactment, Senate from House of Representatives, Senate House of United States, American Congress assembled. The inhabitants of the parts of this area of the United States and contiguous territories of South Dakota, Montana, and the constitute terrorism. And these acts of these Montana and Washington present described become states of North Dakota, and they're shocking the ISIS Taliban members, and they're gawking at them. And then they're laughing at the individuals sitting there trying to say this section of the very comprised of South Dakota is the purpose of that divided by line, the seventh of these standards fools. It never will happen. Ivanka can talk to Roberta all she wants. Now, the fact is that you want a divorce, you get a divorce, you get social property, and it's going to be $2 billion. Now, that Benton County Courthouse in the Bahamas, that's in the whole, so that $2 billion ain't your $2 billion in your Obamacare. That's Section 5. It's black and white. It says the conviction and assembly of this Brasmack, which is 118 chapters in the Christian Bible. He's dead now at this time. He raped Roberta Barela too. Like having sex with her and having his ways with her. Life, that's the way life is here. North Dakota is a big sponsor in that game. The convention writing the check to Senator McCain, and they wanted their life back, want their money back, want their lives back, and be intimidated by individuals because August 11, 1921. The amendment approved on February 24 and 18 Title Act provided the division of Dakota, the two states of the neighbor of the people of North Dakota and South Dakota, Montana, and Washington, from the Constitution and state governments, and has been in the Union for a long, long time. Burning crosses and neo-Nazi crosses, the KK has been lying all day one. And then that comes the Senate House of Representatives of the United States of America, Congress Assembly, with Section 11, and this is Section 11. The Act of Othello provided the divisions of South Dakota states able to cut Mr. Geronimo's hand off in the jail cell and then cast his body in South Dakota by the rocks. And we're going to have to flood out Mueller's Freedom Home and on Acres about the general native animals and also the Muslim and niches, and flood all Spalding Bench, and all of the Jews, and all the sadistic individuals that are submerging and expose them on 10th Street and Union Street, and expose them and let the bodies float down the road. Because Fred's dead too. They killed Fred after the fact. Don't threaten Felix Barela, and that's James Miller. Do your thing, Jay. Do your thing, little man. Just do it in front of the public. Do it in front of everybody. Because October 16, 1977, and 1970, the amendment approved in February 22nd, 1880, Mr. Yoda Centuries. Not 10, not 20, not 30. 100 centuries. That's music for you. Amendments to the Constitution have been established from 1791, long to that. The right to speedy trial, the trial of jury side cases, the bills and fines and punishment, excessive bill. Anything of those laptops in excess of 35, 55,000 is felony. So they reserve the rights of the people in Constitution. The rights considered and denied, disprosed, retained, or detain, or privilege these powers reserves in the states of the people. Delegate these states in Constitution for the issues of reserve these states for the Senate. Rights accused of criminal proceedings, for one. The prison and the frauds and fraudulence in their services for the capital and authorized and famous crime. Presentation, indictment, grand jury, cause arising of land, naval force, and militia acts on services at time of public danger. Nor any person subject to these offenses twice, but jeopardy or life and limb. And that's those are in diverse class and no contest. Please no contest, not contest. This is woman suffrages. These are terms, office, times, coverage, Congress, debt, president of elect of the president. These are services and bias that are accused of the criminal services they provide. These are unwarranted searches for one, the right for people to search and seizure papers, effects against unreasonable search and seizures of violating warrants or childhood, probable cause supported by oath, crossing the street. Come on, you cross the street, is against the law across the street? The only reason to probably cross the street and make a litigate and make propagate on the election of the vice president. Say Ivanka comes in here and go to the funeral home and take Mr. Soderman's body, and the witnesses, mother and father, just pooped on all of them and caught their houses on fire. That's an incentive here. Election of the president and the vice president here. The power and force of the articles in California. Now, Gaza was caught on fire, and also the White House caught on fire, and also the Pentagon was literally nuked by a nuclear bomb, basically. Small, classified space of a nuclear bomb. Known the fact were the amendments for the rights of the Constitution, the civils for the Republic, and supposed to the community. These services are probable. 1791, 1901, this is still codified. This Constitution is all on flames, on fire. Now, the system has the right to be a bride by the states, appointed presidents in the Congress, representatives appointed by the mighty civil states, respectively numbered and counting in the whole person of the states. These Indians not taxed. No. See, Indians, George and Janet from Secretary of Apartments, Apartment 205, Saddam, O'Day, and these sick fools. They slither and bonnet and move around and exchange their integrals and their services as a probable national liquor prohibitor or enforced article, and these Indian fools on tax for the casinos. So it seems like it's a cartel mafia thing. You're having oil, you're accepted, and you're deranged and buy these services. And these public debts are valid or not valid. You can fail bankruptcy because you have this or that, and you can afford this, authorizing of taxes and probable cause for deriving and appointing among several states and sucking them dry. Yeah, that's pretty sick having a president of the United States in the Penn County Justice Department and let them surface walk around. The powers to enforce the article authorizing income taxes, the Congress will hear it at the library. So you have tax forms, 1099s, 1040s, 401ks. These derive appointments belonging to several states. These are census increments, and that's Kim Wayman, Secretary, upstairs. She's dead, laying on the floor, and I left her there dead, just taking from her, sucking her dry. She's from California, here she wants to stay, and you're just taking advantage of her as we speak. her dead body sitting on the gurney, just sitting there dying, and she wakes up. Waking up, knowing she wants to improve the world again. This term of office, now the time coverings of the Congress, death of President-elect. These populations, see, you will come crawling and want to be buried or cremated one day. You'll be begging for your life, just like Mr. Obama did, for his service, for his immediate damage that he did to the society of the United States of America. For the second time, that third time, every day, waking up, Obama coming to you and asking for forgiveness. Please play a card or sit at a table and eat with a convicted, manipulated individual that are sick-minded. These services for the amendments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1791. This service, all recognized by Virginia. John Blair, James Madison Jr., North Carolina, Blue Richard Boggs and Spaggett, Hugh Wilson, South Carolina, Judge Woodford, Charles Cudsworth Pink, and Charles Pinky and Pearson. These all at the Mueller's Funeral Home on headstones. Georgia, William Few, Abraham Baldwin, New Hampshire, Delaware, Maryland, Virgin, and these virgins are called Virginians. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and that's a peach state. New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York City. That's George Clymer, Francis Simons, Andrew Wilson, James Wilson, Gordon Morris, New Hampshire, John Langdon, and also the ratification establishment that's done in the conviction of unfamous consents on the states presented in September of that year of the Lord of 1777. And the independence of the United States of America. The 12th, the witness therefore and herefrom subscribe on their names. Now, election for the President and the Vice President. Elections shall meet the respective states and vote for the ballot of like Secretary of State Kim Wayman here in Washington State. And that's the ballots of person voted as the President. Now, they should be distant list persons. These presidents shall make distant lists for all these persons. Voting persons and President. Moon, Ganja, Bachman, and Sid, International, or Morrison Lake. Except in the fact that all these persons that voted for him to be the President of the United States, and then he said, how if I is shocked? You can cheat, you can talk to Roberta Barela, and she can talk to the services that they have established on the property that belongs to the Indians. Knowing the fact she can talk to the Indian, the owner, and the fabulous owner portrait on the wall, George Washington, which is Lola. They can talk. Now, directed President and Senate President shall, in the votes of the county, persons having the greatest number of votes in President. Now, Sandy Strawn and Lola and John Hernandez and Samuel and Daniel in Nebraska, Texas, they can talk. And God can talk to them. These amendments the Constitution, the Congress of 2/3 of both houses have deemed necessary purpose amend the Constitution. Conviction of proper of these amendments. These debts and supremacist oaths, contract and engagement in the adoption of militia act, as the Constitution of the United States shall be pursuits of these treaties under the authority of the United States and the supreme law of the land, and the judges of various states are bound. And Alfred was killed, and that's Mr. Bill, not Bill Gates, but Bill Gates' coach. He died too. He died. He was one hell of a fight. He put up one hell of a fight, and he's dead. And don't forget Mr. Rock and Donald Trump's brother, Fred. He put one hell of a fight, he's dead. Now, the laws of the state country on Mr. McCain put up one hell of a fight, he's dead. And then constitutional religious test ever required officers in public trust under the United States. And that's me, Mr. McCain, in the penthouse suite, the biggest house established in Phoenix, Arizona. A bunch of prostitutes and mayhem, and Mr. Yates, of course, killing all those prostitutes, bodies inside the truck. That guy's like interesting. The place smells, it reeks. The whole place smells, reeks like dead body. It smells like dead body, basically. Now, this election, president and vice president and electors shall meet the respective states. It's a lot of overtime. It's a lot of overtime, man. Now, there's amendment for this service for the power of the election president and vice president. There's a quorum. It's a quorum, meaning a bunch of snakes and a big ball in Yakima Bravo base inside the Yakima reservation onto the Yakima Police Department. It's a quorum being out in a big ball. Big ball, that's quorum. That means there's friction. The person majority of this from highest numbers is the Senate. 2/3 of the whole. The Senate is a majority of the whole. That's their choice. But the Constitution ineligible of the office of president shall eligible for the vice president of the United States. By choosing the president, the vote shall be taken by the states represented from each state. One vote quorum, and for this purpose shall consist of members with 2/3. See, that vicious quorum ball of snakes is like people that say you're a bigot, or you've never been there, or you start problems, or you're a racist, or any kind of negative activity is called a quorum. So you take that big ball quorum, and basically they take it to a majority of all the states necessary to that choice. The House of Representatives shall chose president whether the right of the choice devolve upon them the fourth day of that March next following this year. The vice president shall act as a president as in the case of the death or constitutional disability of the president. That's government shutdown. December 3rd of 2018, this is 2019, September 27th. Attacked at Eric D. Olson's property. That's Section 13, private property. You may be taken for a public debt. Private property shall be taken or sold to payment corporate debt and a public municipal corporation except modern provided by law or levy of collection of taxes. Oh yeah, you better just drop charges. You just better let me go. You better drop charges or just leave, or because the Section 14 private use of public funds prohibited. Making profit of the town, city, other city, public money, using same of any purchase or promises. Any promises by any officer or peace officer, poisoning or controlling somebody and trying to say this guy has a felony or prosecuting a punishment prescribed law is a lie. Because deposit of public funds in broad daylight, watching him jump on him and attack him and try to break his legs and lacerate him at the first and the second time. It says Section 15, deposit public funds. All money assessments, taxes belong collected from the use of the county, city, state, or public municipal corporation coming hands. The officer therefore shall make the deposit treasurer. A legal deposit, that's a judge's, in front of judge's eyeballs for depositing inquiries and citation tickets, audit services that you owe, outstanding bills. And then comes section initiative referendum of signatures. Amendment 30, 1956. Initiative and referendum signature required. Number of valid signatures of legal bodies required upon petition and initiative measure equal 18. So you're gonna have to pull out the measure tape out. Look at me, cat eye, G6 to D9, the backhoe, the track hoe, and 56,000 dump trucks, and removed the September 11th. All over again. And the $10 million from Saudi Arabian King, Ali King. We're looking for another Saudi Arabian father, of course. My grandma's dead. Now, she's looking for initiative reform. She's born again. She will never die. She will haunt you. It says 8% of the number of voters registered on the voting ballot form governed by receiving regulation, government election. Thereafter, a number of valid section legal voters required upon petition, ratifying the leg of legislator, that any part for per diem, they're putting that for per diem in there. Cartel mafia that accepted this fool. Look at this. Office of Governor proceeding the regular subjects provisions. It's all here in black and white. I'll just fax it to you. Give it to you. Remember, just go to the federal courthouse and show you. I'll sit here and tell you who you are and what it is. It says death of the president elected. At this time, beginning of the term, president has died. We're going to take Mr. and Mrs. Kennedy, dead body at Mueller's funeral home, take it out of the Mueller's funeral property, and take Mr. Kennedy's body and Mrs. property, a body file, all the bodies of the Kennedy family, and I'll donate it to you or something. Maybe you pass information. You have Mr. Obama in the background and back here sitting there having all these convict fools trying to kill me for no reason. Because you're a fool, liar. He didn't pay me for nothing. He didn't pay me a cent. Well, we could tell this to the lifers. The lifers probably Unibody, Mr. McVeigh. Mr. McVeigh. I mean, Mr. McVeigh lived here in Moses Lake, Washington, actually. And he has a tray. He feeds a tray. He got 2 trays. He feeds 2 trays. And he serves these 2 trays to these individuals, complicated individuals, militia activists. And if they, go ahead. If you think you can take them, go ahead. If you think so, go ahead. Go ahead and break yourself off. He'll break you right off. And the person disqualified for holding an office. A person saw senator, representatives, Congress, lecturers, vice presidents holding any civil military under the United States, under anything previously taken by oath. Your left and right hand, your eyeball, and also your fingerprints on your sensors. It says person disqualified for holding office. Now listen to this. Complicated individuals. Why public debts are valid. Look, this assuming a pay a debt obligation incurred in aid instruction against the United States of America. Now, the claim of loss implemented by a slave province sniveling fool begging a DHCP or something, obligate incurred this claim of loss implemented of a cotton picker. Now, this term of office of president, the president was elected on the president twice. No person nailed. This is amendments. Transport. Holding office president, 1 article of Proverbs. Congress shall be rent. Persons may hold in office. Yeah, Roberta McCain wants to divorce Mr. McCain, and it ain't happening. It's death to you part. Better than worse. I'm going to have to sign this and give it to you. All this money. You guys can see how far you run with it. When you go far, you'd be begging for more. Oh my God. This place is cursed. There's a ghost around here. Seals of courts months of penalties. Supreme Court of the state shall and Superior Court several counties shall entitle to provide in the General George Washington's house.